All right, welcome back, everybody, to Relationships Today. I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. It's officially turtleneck season. If you're watching this, you can see I actually have a real fireplace behind me this time. It's because I decided to try something a little different for the holidays this year with my kids. We're up at a ski resort here for local people know all about it. It's a different kind of cold up here, so I'm not sure I'm built for this weather, and I'm gonna probably post a little on my video if you've seen it on my story on Instagram, because yeah, I'm more cut out for the beach, I think, than the ski hills. But thought, my kids, they're interested in trying it, and give them a chance. We'll see how it turns out, but I'm thankful that we have a hot tub here. Anyway, it's been a while since my last podcast. I know it's just been a busy season. I think everybody felt that way. The closing of 2021 here, it seemed like the fall, everybody that I talked to was just busy, and work was busy, and a lot of businesses were looking for help because a lot of people weren't working from COVID, and now there's just like, it's up and down. I'm sure you all know, wherever you are, that sometimes things are open, some things are closed. It's just been a crazy year. I'm sure that you feel that. And the reason why I wanted to do this podcast today is because as we close out the Christmas season and we enter into the new year, I know that Christmas is a time that usually is triggering for a lot of people. You get together with family that you wouldn't normally see throughout the year. And, maybe if you're in a relationship, you're with in-laws, or you're introducing people to your family, and you're seeing, maybe you're meeting other people's, your significant other's family, and so on, or spending time with those people. And it's just, it's just a time where different emotions come out, and there's a lot of nostalgia for people, so it can be positive as well. Could just be emotional in general, a lot of memories, childhood stuff, all that tends to come out in these seasons. So I figured I would just do a rant like I do once in a while by myself, about this, and encourage everybody to just take a breath if you need to, and examine, like, is this season triggering for you? Is it joyful? You know, Considering the pandemic and all that, has it affected you in a way that has affected your relationships? And, how has it been? Self-examination, I found, I just was making some notes for my next book coming up. Well, it's probably a little ways off before I get to that book, but I made a star beside the word self-examination, because I felt like it's something that I really need to include in that. The next book is going to be on love and spirituality, and the masterclass that's coming out, my goal is for the beginning of the year, this year, but the next book will be on love and spirituality. Maybe food and sex as well will have a part in that book. Well, that's yet to be seen. But the masterclass is also about getting what you like out of your relationships, or figuring out if maybe you should be going into a relationship or staying single. The masterclass will kind of touch on the principles that I think are key in all of that. So that being said, self-examination, I really felt like it was something that I needed to make a point of. And for me, like this time of year, that's the reason why I decided to try something different with my kids, than maybe what we would usually do. I would just maybe step out of myself a little bit and do something that they might like, as opposed to what I would choose to do at this time of year. And so for me, the holidays are always a double-edged sword, so to speak. The time leading up to it, I really try to pull back a little bit from social media, and that me being a Christian, I Christmas and Easter, those two seasons, I find like the time leading up to them, they're more spiritual for me. I personally try not to get too caught up in the material side of it or the commercial side of it. You can't help it; it's all around us. It's so, but I think it's important to look at the positives in that. Like, what are the virtues that we're remembering, like giving, generosity. It's a time of year where ideally we'd be like that all the time, but it's just one of those times to celebrate those that we love and to be a little extra thoughtful. So I do a lot of self-examination leading up to seasons like this, and I found that this year, with the pandemic and everything that I've been through in my life, uh, I needed some time to just be a little more quiet this season, and so I didn't post a lot in terms of social media, and I didn't do a lot of creative work during this time. That's why this podcast there's been a little bit of a break in between the last one and this one. And I hope that you guys watched the last one or listened to the last one that was on truth and reconciliation. And we were talking about the Indigenous people in Canada and the experience here and all that, and how it's closely aligned also with the Black movement and our people of color. And one of the inspirations out of that for me is that in the new year, I would like to do some BIPOC sessions on the podcast. So if you're listening to this and you are a person of color or Indigenous, and you'd like to be on the podcast, give me a shout, because I want to talk about cultural impacts to relationships and maybe what it's like. For me, living in Canada, I know what it's like for me, but I'd like to hear what it's like for other people, or what it's been like, in that sense. And not just romantic relationships either, right? That my brand is not just focused on that. Although this year, I think it's time that, especially with the masterclass and the next book that I need to start writing, I will like to focus a little bit on the romantic side of things as well, and dating and all that, which is also very relevant to me because I'm single, as most of you know, divorced, and so anyway, all that being said, yes, this is a rant, and I'm doing this with no guest on today. I'm looking forward to 2022. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. I know I need to ramp up my content. All this is come out of this time that I said was a spiritual time and a time of self-examination and what I'd like to do going forward. So I hope the same for you. Whatever it is that you do for work, or whatever your situation is, that maybe this season, and as we approach the new year, that it's an opportunity for you to figure out maybe some goals for yourself. I know every time it's like new year, new you, and maybe the masterclass will be a part of that for you if you follow me. I really appreciate all of you who follow me and who just stay engaged and comment on things. And for the people who have read the book this year, the first book, Chocolate Covered Frenchfries, I really appreciate the feedback. And I love when you share it and you let me know what you thought, and you share it with other people. So this podcast today is just to say thank you for 2021 has been a roller coaster for all of us. Thank you for sticking through it on your own. Thank you for sticking through it with me. If you've been rocking with me through this, I just want to look forward to 2022, maybe do some new stuff, and I'd love to have some new guests and some returning guests. Looking forward to that for the podcast. And I just want this podcast and the stuff that I write or the coaching that I do to be about real life. We're real people, and sometimes we get caught up in the media and seeing what famous people are doing, or couples and all that are out there that some of us might aspire to. But I just think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, when the cameras are off, we're all real people, and if we can embrace that and love the people in our lives best we can. The holidays are definitely a time where we see dynamics that we don't always see. Like, for example, my sister is here visiting with me for the holidays, and she lives, one of my sisters anyway, this one lives 4 hours away by car, so I don't see her as often. And my other sister lives across the country, so I definitely don't see her that often. And so it's also a time of missing, like my family. I always miss everybody who's over back in the Middle East of Canada, as I call it, in Toronto, in that area. But out here on the West Coast, my youngest sister is here with me for the holidays, and it's always a different dynamic. Like, we don't see each other all the time, and she's around my kids, and she doesn't get to see them all the time, and it brings up different things. It's a reminder for me that I'm not just a dad. I'm not just a single man out here. I'm also a brother, and I'm a son. I probably interact with my mom especially, and my dad a little bit more, or my parents at this time of year in a different way. And my grandmother, who's out here, the last surviving grandparent I have, so I don't want to miss it. I feel like that's why I decided to try something different this holiday and do this, step out of my comfort zone. And I don't want to miss these opportunities. At least I tried, and so wish the same for you. If there's something that maybe you need to try a little differently with those around you in your life, just sometimes just a little shift can open up opportunities for things that we didn't have. So I'm grateful for this week with my kids here. We're a little bit off the grid than what we would normally be like up here, and so we get to have conversations that we don't always have, and just maybe do things and just be around each other in a way that we're not in our day-to-day life. So for all of you who are listening and are maybe away with your family right now, relish that time. And if you're listening to this after the fact, after the holidays, or it's still in your normal life right now, day-to-day life, thank you for listening. Keep following, subscribe, share. Appreciate all the love. Watch for the masterclass. My goal is to get it out for the beginning of the new year, and it'll be an opportunity. It'll just be a baby step. You check it out, see if you like it when you see it, and it'll just be some short content that will be me sharing some things that I've found through all the people that I've worked with and in my own life, and some research and things like that. And you'll get a copy of the book if you don't have it already. So check the link in the bio. Please pass it on. And I wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever it is that you're celebrating this time of year, and Happy New Year if I don't talk to you or see you personally, because a lot of you I know personally. So appreciate you, wishing you love and success in whatever goals that you have, both personally and professionally, for 2022. Let's pray that this pandemic ends as soon as possible. Peace and love. Talk to you soon.